like guitars? Because I like, well, you know what I like. Today's guitar of choice. This is Sammi, or Samantha. This is a 2016 Gibson Les Paul Standard double cutaway. This was a special edition. They made them in two colors. They made them in the beautiful cherry sunburst, and they made them in a, I can't remember what they called it, but it was like a blue. It was blue. So anyway, this is a very cool guitar. Kind of a miserable story behind the guitar, but it's a cool guitar. I bought this guitar from Musician's Friend. I bought it online. Rarely do I buy guitars online that I haven't played before, but in this case, it came across the feed one day. I thought it was a beautiful guitar. I've always loved the double cutaways. I had my first Les Paul Standard double cutaway in 1998. It was an awesome guitar as well. It was 24 frets instead of 22. That didn't work out for me so well, sound-wise, but that's just a personal preference. Anyway, this came across. Beautiful guitar, 22 fret neck, had everything that I wanted. I went ahead and bought it. When I got it, the picture on the internet of this particular guitar, I could see that it was a flame top, but in the picture, it was mildly flamed, not super figured. So I figured they're going to take the best one for the picture on the internet, and then mine that I ordered would probably be virtually a plain top, not much flame at all. When I opened the case on this guitar, I was just floored. I don't know if you can see how nice the flame on this top is. It is unbelievable. The flame on this guitar is 1,000 times better than the one in the picture on Musician's Friend. So I was just completely blown away with that. Second, I was a little disappointed because the description of the guitar on Musician's Friend was actually a description that they had borrowed from some other product, a 2014 Les Paul Standard double cutaway, which was non-weight relieved. And that's what I like. Weight relief is when, real quick, the back of this guitar is mahogany. It's like 2 inches thick, or 1.5 inches thick. And then they glue on a maple cap on the top of it, which is a 1/2 inch thick. But before they glue that maple top on, they drill a bunch of holes in the mahogany, not all the way through the guitar, obviously, but they hollow it out, per se, and then they glue the maple on top. Well, that's for weight relief. Les Pauls are notoriously heavy guitars, and a lot of guys, especially older guys, that have been playing them for years and years complain of back pain and back trouble and all that kind of stuff. The heaviest Les Pauls, to me, to my ear, those are the ones that sound the best. I don't want weight relief. I want it to hurt my back. Anyway, when I got this guitar, I found out that it was not only weight relieved, it was chambered. And what that means, it's basically hollow on the inside. They have cut out so much of the mahogany and then glued the maple on top. So it's very, very lightweight, but chambered guitars have a very different sound. I was pretty disappointed that it was chambered when I got it until I started playing it, really listening, to it through the amps and whatnot. The neck on this guitar is phenomenal as far as the neck profile. But in 2016, Gibson was touting their rolled fretboard edge technology. They've taken the top edge of this fretboard and they've kind of rolled it over. They've filed it to where it rounds up, kind of up and over the edge of the fretboard. So it's a little less sharp, if you will. It's supposed to feel like an old, worn-in, well-worn, well-played guitar. Well, what it equated to on this particular instrument, they rolled that fretboard over and on all the metal frets, they over beveled the edges of the frets to a point where when you were playing along, the high E string would just pull off the side of the neck. Just pull off, pull off. The low E string would just pull off the side of the neck because there was so little fret underneath the string. I was just flabbergasted. I put my heavier gauge of strings on. I did every setup adjustment I could think of. Bottom line is, the frets were just beveled incorrectly. So my choice was send it back to Musician's Friend, get my money back, which they would have been happy to do. Or, hey, it's under full warranty. I thought, what the heck? I'm going to give Gibson a call, let them know what's going on, see if they'll do something for me. Long story, and man, it is a long story. Long story short, I sent the guitar back to Gibson. They completely refretted the neck. They took out all the old frets, they put in new frets. These frets come out and over the edges of the binding. I mean, they're smooth on the side of the neck. You can't feel the edges of the frets. But they did a phenomenal job. When I got this thing back, the fretwork is immaculate, and it plays like a dream. I just love this guitar. So yeah, and then you know all the standard stuff that I do with my guitars. However, this one does not have the Seymour Duncan pickups. These are the Gibson pickups. I believe this is a Burstbucker 3 and a Burstbucker 2. It came with one volume and one tone knob. I don't use tone knobs ever. Most of the time I just clip them, and I'll leave them in the guitar, but I'll just clip them so they don't work. A lot of guys use tone knobs. A lot of guys, whatever. I don't care. Don't care about the tone knob. So I switched it around. This is now a coil tap switch. When you pull that up, it shuts off one of the coils in each pickup. So you get a nice, clean, kind of almost a Strat sound with it. Here's the sound before the tap. And when you tap the pickup, it's a little twangier sound. Anyway, Tone Pros locking bridge, Tone Pros locking tailpiece studs, Gibson TP6, got my groovy chrome steel pickup selector cover on there. The Grover tuners, these have the kidney bean or kidney shaped buttons on them. For a minute, I'll have the keystones on there sometime. Let's see, what else? That's kind of the long and short of the guitar. Of course, the recessed Dunlop strap locks. This guitar turned out to be one of my favorites. I absolutely love this guitar. Chambered or not, I love it. The neck is phenomenal. It plays great. It sounds great. And it is beautiful. Sammi. That's Sammi. Hey, at the beginning of the video, I was playing just a new idea, a new song idea. When I write with my band End of Story, most of our stuff is a little heavier, I don't know, a little darker sounding or something. This riff that I was playing, to me, man, this is just like good mood type stuff. It just feels good. It's got kind of an older Joe Satriani vibe to it, which I love Joe Satriani, so that's cool. It just feels good. It's a fun part to play. It doesn't look like much. I guess maybe it's not too much, but there's a little bit more to it than meets the eye. Anyway, this is one of my new tune ideas, and it's more of an instrumental type thing. At least in my head, there's no lyrics or anything going on. Instrumental guitar type deal. I've got several of those in the works right now. This guitar is tuned to standard pitch with a drop D. In End of Story, we pretty much play drop C exclusively. The guitar is tuned down a lot lower, a little heavier sound. I'm truly enjoying playing the drop D or standard tuning. So anyway, yeah, this tune, this little piece, I don't even have a name for it yet. But the chords are pretty simple. It's a first fifth chord on the D and G string with an open A in the bass. And when it comes around the second time, this top note in that chord, I like that top note, so I wanted to try to keep that top note in the descending chords. So what we ended up with was there's a top note, some note, same note, different chord, same descending chord, same top note. So it makes the chords a little bit more interesting and a little bit more difficult, and it's fun to play that way. And the next part, I love the next part. It's just, again, it's just such a cool, groovy feel. It just feels good. It's a good mood. It's like riding a motorcycle with your hair blowing in the wind, or I don't know, man. There's just, it's awesome. I like it. It's fun. Next part, let's see. What that is, let's see, where do we go? It's a G. Goes to the G chord. And because I'm tuned down, drop D, the bottom two strings are just a first fifth chord. And I got the moving notes on top of that, and it almost feels like two guitar parts. And it feels like you got the rhythm just going. But I've got the movement on top, so it's now that's another one where I wanted to keep that top note in there, so I don't know what you call it. I don't know music theory, and I don't know the names of chords, and I don't know a lot of stuff. I just totally play by ear, so that's like a unresolved chord that resolves to a D. That's a flatted something. Anyway, so we got this top note in the chord, and then I wanted to keep that, so I've got one of the descending part, and I can't hardly reach. That one's a tough one. So in order to get that note, I have to play it down here. So this chord becomes interesting because I'm kind of muting the low D with this finger. Actually, this finger. Let's play that. My index finger is playing this note and sort of muting the low D string. I got this D string open, and then on the G string, the A note there. So my chord is. So we end up with that top note in the chord while all the chords underneath move. So, like I say, it doesn't sound like a whole lot when you're listening to it. It just feels groovy and sounds good, and sounds fun. That's a good way to put it. It's just fun. It just has a fun, cool thing to it. But like I say, there's a little bit more to the chords than meets the eye, and that makes it fun to play. So. Don't really know where I'm going with the rest of it. That's as far as I've got. I like that feel. Every time I sit down and play this guitar, I gravitate to this piece of music. I love to play it. This is my living room guitar. When I'm upstairs just hanging out in the living room, I'll grab this thing and play for hours. Once again, 2016 Gibson Les Paul Standard double cutaway. It's a limited run. I can't remember how many they made. It may have only been 100. It's either 100 or 200. There's not very many of them. You can find them every now and then on Reverb and eBay. I don't know if people are selling them because they had the same problem with the fretboard that I did, but man, I tell you what, people talk about Gibson and Gibson's lack of quality and lack of quality control and all that stuff. They rag on Gibson all the time, and I understand. I've played Gibsons for 43 years. My first guitar was a Gibson. Everything I own now, with the exception of 2 guitars, is Gibson. And I'm tried and true Gibson. I've played him through the Norlin era. I've played him through the 80s when they were sticking tape all over everything, trying to make it, you know, modern or whatever. I've watched him go through all the throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks. And I understand why they developed a terrible reputation for a minute. And then in 2016, they got a new CEO. The company made a lot of major changes, and they vowed to go back to making good guitars. And that was one of the reasons why I decided, as opposed to buying an older, used instrument, I'm going to try the new 2016 Gibson. Now, again, I had to send it in to get completely refretted, but they took care of me. It was gone for about 5 weeks, but it was worth every minute of the wait. When I got the guitar back, it just plays incredibly. Plus, they threw on a brand new bone nut as a bonus. I think the guitar originally came with like a Tectoid nut or something like that, when it was plastic, basically. And this is a real bone nut that they just threw in, didn't even ask for it. I love the guitar. Anyway, new ideas. I've got lots of them. We'll play some more of them at some point. This one, I'm gonna record it and flesh it out and see what you guys think. I just was playing it upstairs, and I thought, man, I'm gonna go down and make a little video of this piece. And anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. As always, thank you so much for coming and hanging out. I know I'm long-winded. I'm trying to get to where I can tell stories in short form. That's likely never going to happen at my age. So thank you for hanging out. If you don't mind, hit the like button for the video, subscribe to the channel, and if you know anybody that you think might enjoy just guitar videos, you know, talking about guitars, playing guitars, have them subscribe. Have them check me out. I'm having a good time doing this, and I hope you guys are too. So anyway, I'll see you soon in another video. Bye.